Good morning. I'm Alisa Zee. Thanks again for spending your Sunday morning here with us on this. I'm still here with Martin Manna with the Chaldean Community Foundation. I want to get all the words in because you paid for all of those words. I want to make sure I get them all in. I hope you're having a good morning, Martin.
There's no other place I'd rather be.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know that you are politically involved, let's say. We're not talking about which side of the aisle anybody leans on, but efforts to move specific and important legislation forward to support the community, not just the Chaldean community, but all communities. Can you talk a little bit, shine a light on some things that you wish we all would know about?
Well, sure. We had previously spoken about the genocide that was committed against the minority population, specifically the Yazidi and Christian communities in Iraq. And Congresswoman Slotkin has recently introduced a resolution that will recognize that a genocide was committed against our community and others. And the significance of that is that more resources would be put in place to aid those communities, whether it's rebuilding what was destroyed by ISIS, providing some long-term care and hopefully a shelter for those that have been displaced, and sustainability long-term.
Right.
And it's a bipartisan resolution, which is significant to us. We have a wonderful representation in our Congress, bipartisan representation that always take the lead on issues relating to, religious rights and advocating for ethnic and religious minorities, especially those that have been persecuted,
Yes.
which we're really thankful for.
I never understand why anybody would be against any of that legislation. Don't you just smack your head, Martin, and go, how could you not do this?
Well, yeah, some of this always comes back to immigration, which is just a broken system. I think you could spend a few days just talking about immigration and who should or shouldn't be allowed and what the process is. But, I've always talked a lot. I've had many conversations on both sides of the aisle, and most people are in the middle. Right? Good government, good representation, and, get rid of these extremists. I think we could do a lot of good in America.
From your lips. So are you running for president?
No, I'm not running for or from anything. Yeah, that's okay.
I understand. That was a very good answer. I'm not running for or from anything. Well, let's see how we can bring people together, Martin. What is the Chaldean Community Foundation doing, or what are you doing to help bring the Chaldean community together with the African American community, with the Jewish community, with the Muslim community, with all the communities, as the kids say, all the fields, all the communities? How are we bringing people together?
Well, in many ways, I think, we have a large concentration of Chaldeans living in Oakland and Macomb County and in Wayne County. You talk about where we work or worship. You talk about Wayne County as well, and there's many initiatives underway. So as an organization, we do a lot of outreach with the local municipalities we deal with. So we've done cultural competency for West Bloomfield Township residents. We continuously host like a Breakfast of Nations at the Chaldean Community Foundation in Sterling Heights Chamber, the Macomb Chamber, and the city of Sterling Heights. And so we'll do that with county government, local governments in and around Southeast Michigan, just so people understand that, hey, we exist, we're here for the community, and we're very proud to be Michiganders and part of this wonderful place, right? The other part of it is the Chaldean Community Foundation now owns the Chaldean News, and there's been initiatives in conjunction with the Jewish News called Building Community, where we brought the communities together. From it, there was even this group called Jacob, Jewish and Chaldean Opportunity Builders, that still meet, by the way.
Okay.
And we would tour museums in each communities, but more than anything else, you would have a chance to sit, break bread, and learn about who your neighbors are.
Yes.
Why did they come here? And how wonderful they are, by the way. It's great. I don't want to eat Chaldean food every day. I want to try everything else. And so this really helps break down stereotypes more than anything else. And we're also working with the U.S. Department of Justice. There's a initiative underway where our business owners in the city of Detroit in certain zip codes can get to meet their customers. So we have a lot of Chaldean business owners in the city of Detroit, and they're getting to meet the African American community. And these are just great forums to talk about what's on people's minds.
Yes.
And more times than not, people probably just have a misunderstanding. There's bad actors in many of these communities.
Yep.
When you sit across from each other or next to each other, it's much easier, right? We have much more in common than different.
Yes. It's like the old neighborhood block parties.
That's right.
We all used to have them, and then you'd meet your neighbors and you'd go, wow, you lived around the corner for 33 years. I didn't know you were there. Where did you come here from? It's an opportunity to get to know one another and embrace the similarities and learn from the differences.
Amen. And just to take it a step further, you look at business ownership historically in the city of Detroit. So the Chaldeans own the majority of supermarkets. Prior to the Chaldeans, prior to them, it was the Italian community.
Yep.
And as we look at the next generation, we're trying to create programs, a community that owns these businesses. The next generation will be African Americans that live within the city.
Moving social efforts forward. We have just a few minutes left, and I know there's some big problems. Make sure people understand coming up, happening, ground has been broken, desks are being moved, all kinds of things. Enlighten me, Martin.
Yeah, sure. We have a growing community. Soon we'll be unveiling a survey from Walsh College just to talk about the size of the community, which we think is more than 200,000 now, contributing some $15 billion to the state economy.
Wow.
And so we are a growing community. So we have a new community center that we're renovating in West Bloomfield, 45,000 square feet. That'll help us preserve our identity, our culture, and pass it on to the next generation, at the same time providing additional health and human services because we're really overwhelmed at our Sterling Heights facility.
Okay.
We're also big in attainable housing. We have 135 units under construction in Sterling Heights. We're recreating an opportunity zone there where we hope to build as many as 500 units over the next 5 years. That could be dubbed a Chaldean Town 2.0. So think about public space and a great partnership with the city of Sterling Heights and Macomb County. And then lastly, we're trying to do something similar in Farmington Hills with an additional attainable housing unit.
And I like that phrase, attainable housing unit. In the couple of minutes we have left, what stone have we left unturned? What would you like to flip back over again? It's Martin Manna World.
Wow, that's a little dangerous, but
I'll just leave the room for a minute.
No, we certainly appreciate the opportunity, but I think more than anything, we just want people to know that this community is very thankful and proud to be American. I mean, they fled persecution and have been given a great opportunity. And when you have religious and economic freedom, it's clear that our community, like other immigrant groups, have really excelled.
Yes.
And so we now have a community that's sizable, owns more than 25,000 businesses. And all I can ask is, more than anything else, get to know your neighbor.
Yes, get to know your neighbor. Words to live by. Do you have a quick story you can tell of somebody coming in and you were able to help them and what their outcome was? Reader's Digest version.
No, sure. We always invite people to come to the Chaldean Community Foundation just to see what we've created, just because we've had many other communities come that want to do something similar. And I remember this story more than anything that, we always say we don't understand what other people have been through. And there was a family who had come and they're sharing their story, and it's tough to have to listen to these stories, but the parents were explaining when ISIS had come into their villages that they were given 24 hours to flee or to be killed, and they were also very worried about their daughter because many of the young ladies there were being taken and raped, unfortunately, used as sex slaves, and they chose to kill their daughter rather than hand her over to ISIS. And, when I think about what they've endured and just, again, by the grace of God and, all the wonderful, people that live here in this country and what we've been given, it's really our duty to serve anybody that comes through our office, and it's an honor to do so.
Let's give the website one more time in case anybody else wants to share in that honor.
Thank you. It's ChaldeanFoundation.org.
ChaldeanFoundation.org. This has been so wonderful. I hope you'll come back again.
If you have me, I'm always here.
All right. I like that. And thank you all for Sunday morning here. I'm Alisa Zee. You're listening to the Sunday edition.